Everybody, back to another Product People community session. We're joined today by Tiziano Nessi, who is the Senior Product Manager at Frontify. He'll be sharing his stories and tips on how to grow stronger as a product manager. Before we get started, just a few introductions. A little bit about myself. My name is Stacy. I am a product manager here at Product People. I actually started this March, earlier this year, as an associate. So in the last 4 months, I've had my own whirlwind of exciting challenges and moments of growth as well. And since then, I've also been fortunate enough to work with several B2C and B2B clients, including WHO and the Emma Sleep Company. My background initially was in business and hospitality, but I pivoted to tech about 4 years ago in a startup here in Berlin. And since then, it's been, suffice it to say, a wild journey, very fun though. About Product People, for those of you joining us for the first time, as interim product managers, we help companies in all different stages of their product lifecycle. Our missions can span anywhere between 3 months to a year plus. We're very used to onboarding ourselves quickly, aligning with cross-functional teams, and delivering outcomes. We also believe in sharing knowledge generously, and we maintain a product management community of now 13,000 members strong. So that includes all of you. Thank you so much for joining us tonight and being a part of that. You can find us active on all of our social media channels, and we host sessions just like this on various product management topics. Before we hand over to Tiziano, we have a quick poll just to see where everyone is coming from on this topic. You should see a poll pop up shortly on Zoom if you're joining us there. For everyone else on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook, Twitch, you're welcome to share your responses in the chat. So our question, what has impacted negatively your growth as a product manager? Is it A, misalignment with the manager, B, not being close enough to the market, C, not being passionate about the industry or the product, D, perhaps not a clear growth path, E, a dysfunctional company, or F, other? And if you pick F, you are welcome to share with us why that is.
Sorry, did you say there's going to be a poll on?
There are going to be a poll pop up shortly. You're also welcome to pop in. Let's do this. If you don't mind sharing with me in the chat what your answers are, and you can tell me exactly one of them if it pertains to you, or all of them if you like as well. Fantastic. Okay. Dila, do you mind just sharing with me what the answers are? Let's see.
Please give me a moment.
Fantastic, thank you. I see a few answers coming in already. Seems like B, not being close to the market, is coming up as a high one. The other channels seem to reflect that as well. I have a few with also D, not a clear growth path.
We have E, B, D, B, and D.
Okay. So
B and D is...
here we go. All right. F, interesting. One of the other options mentioned, too long being a remote worker. Definitely curious to see how that applies. And then B and D. Those look like across all the channels to be the most common answers. So B, not being close enough to the market, and D, not a clear growth path. All right. Interesting results. Thank you, everyone, for sharing. All right. So without further delay, allow me to introduce Tiziano Nessi, as I mentioned, the Senior Product Manager at Frontify. If you have questions during his talk, you're welcome to pop them into the chat, and we'll ask them for you at the Q&A at the end. And with that, Tiziano, if you don't mind sharing your screen, the floor is yours.
Yes, amazing. 1 second that I share my screen. No. Okay.
Awesome. Yep, we see the screen. Thank you.
All right. Great. So it's nice to see the answer actually, because today we will take as an example answer B, so being too far from the market, and also another example, which was, I believe, the answer E, when you're a bit in a, I called it dysfunctional company, which might be a bit too exaggerated, but you will see the example, and I'm sure lots of you can relate to it. But without further ado, I would like, first of all, to thank product people, especially Mohammed, Mansour, which I talked a lot in the previous months, Stacy, Mirela, and everyone else in the call. It's great because I've been educating myself as a product person for many years with product people, and now sitting on the other side, it's just given me a lot of happiness and humble. Right. So let's imagine this story. Don't we all desire to grow? And if you do, you can also add an emoji on the Zoom call or whatever, because I'm sure that everyone here in this call, we might have different ambitions, but I'm confident we all don't want to stagnate. Otherwise, we wouldn't be in product management. And with more impact growth, I mean, we want to all achieve a higher number of customers, a higher salary, solving harder problem, and I can go on and on with the list. But in order to achieve this, you also need to deliver results. And you can probably also relate to that phase of your career where everything is working quite well. You know, you're feeling it's a great working conditions, you're achieving good results, the feature you release are getting a lot of adoptions, you're motivated, and this feels great. And then suddenly, bang, something happened, something unexpected hits your working environment. So this smooth path towards the desired growth gets a bit bumpier. For example, you might have a new boss, or you miss a milestone, you don't get promoted, your feature doesn't get that adoption you wished for, and after working for a few weeks or months even, that really sucks. Can you relate with it? Well, I definitely can. In my career, I've had many of these roadblocks, but a positive thing is that every time I learn how to adapt my working style to make sure to hinder these things in the future. And by adapting, I mean reassessing my circle of influence and focus on what I can impact today. And this is going to be the focus of this presentation, finding things that you can impact today, meaning collecting more customer insights and opportunities, and deliver these to your team to have a better collaboration. So my name is Tiziano Nessi, as Stacy already introduced. I'm a senior product manager at Frontify, and I've been working the last 5 years with digital products from different company, from SME to a big corporate startup, and now at Frontify, which is a scale-up. My background though is quite different than the usual product manager. I'm coming from the hospitality and food industry, also like stays in the call. And I mean, working in hospitality is probably the most fulfilling job. You're really close to the customer, but I was lacking a bit this impact at scale for the people. And therefore I moved towards the digital world. And I started as a digital analyst for design hotels in Berlin, where I stayed in Berlin actually for around 5-6 years. Then I worked for Metro, one of the largest wholesale in the world, where we try to digitize, or we are digitizing the restaurant industry. And then since around 8 months, I moved back to Switzerland and I'm working for Frontify. So let me just share a few words about Frontify and who we are. First of all, we're an amazing product-driven company based in St. Gallen by Constance Lake, but also with offices in many other countries and hiring a lot of remote colleagues. What we do is basically we provide a brand management platform. So we help brands to manage their processes from creating, storing, collaborating, distributing, and even measuring your brand impact, your brand assets out there. And we work with exciting companies. But the focus of today is really about you and how you can grow faster as a product manager. The structure, this is the structure of the call, which is going to last about 20 minutes. And really the focus is going to be about circle of influence. Right. So this is a similar follow-up question to what I asked you in the survey. These are two roadblocks that I encounter a few times in my product management experience. First, being a company where the term product management is a foreign concept. Yes, that might be your title. You might work in Scrum, but at the end of the day, the roadmap is given to you fixed by someone else. And the other example, which I will bring later on, and it was the answer B in the survey, is about that you feel too distant from the market, or maybe not only yourself, but your team. And we will see ways that I use to solve this. So what do I normally do if I encounter roadblocks? I focus on my circle of influence. And I'm also here glad to our director, Frontify, that he mentioned this terminology a lot, and I can only be an advocate of it. So the first thing that I realize when something is shaking me, I think about my users, because I can impact the opportunities I discover through user centricity, from customer centricity approach. I can find new opportunities. And an opportunity means solving customer issues, expanding product market fit, increase growth loops, scale the product. So there are a lot of different opportunities, but also an opportunities, if you deliver it, can generate business results. And we all know that if you generate business results, well, naturally, you're going to be seen as a strong product manager. And this will also further support your growth. But what do I do in order to find out these opportunities? I use the value proposition canvas framework. This is one of my favorite, created by Strategizer, actually a Swiss company. And how do I use it? It's mainly, let's say, for early stage company, it really helps you to bring this perspective and mainly a holistic view of all your product, the customer profile and what you offer, but also a very detailed connection between the market needs, meaning your customer profile, and your product offering. And when you create the value proposition canvas, think about really the everyday routine of your customers, especially in a B2B environment. Think and map down in this customer profile what your prospect does from the moment they wake up until they go to bed. And then you will see that you will find amazing opportunities in it. But now let's dig a little bit deeper in each of the different sections, so you know how to use this value proposition canvas for your next opportunities hunt. So the customer jobs. These are basically the activities that your customer do. Think about stuff that happened before, during, or after using your product. And then separate these activities, these jobs, in 3 different buckets. You have the functional jobs, which is like simple as scanning a QR code. You have emotional jobs, which are preferences or the fact of feeling good. Let's say after exercising, you feel great. This is an emotional job. And then there are social jobs, which are really linked to the concept of what the other thinks about me. Brand, for example, plays a big role in the social jobs. Starbucks versus a normal coffee. And then on the lower part of the customer profile, you have the customer pains, which is basically everything around being annoyed, failing, or creating inefficiencies in the work that you're doing. So the negative experience, emotions, and risk in the process of really getting your job done. An example here could be for hotel owners to pay 20% commission every time they receive a booking through booking.com. And at the end of the day, you also have the gains, which are sort of a contrary of the pains. It's more even what does give a positive experience to the customer. And in this case, it's really about the desired outcome. What does make our customer happier at the end of the day? Right, when you collect all of these ones, you have a quite of a clear customer profile. So you know what do they do on a daily basis, what does annoy them, and what actually gives them happiness, pleasure, and a feeling of achievement. But now you need to connect the market needs with your product offering. So we go on to the other side of the framework, which is the value map. In the value map, you collect all the product and services that you offer as a company. So this could be your features, your 24/7 support, your brand as well, and then how can you split the offering that you have? You can split it into the pain reliever. So in this case, you look at your feature set and product and services, and you understand, okay, what of these things alleviate customer pain? And then you connect the two. I really like to bring the examples of the freemium subscription. It doesn't seem like a pain reliever, but it actually is, because if you think about, you are decreasing the entry barrier for your product. Prospect doesn't have to spend that much money anymore, and therefore you're alleviating a pain. And then there are the gain creators, which are those features or those services that create a benefits. A lot turns around the word saving, especially in B2B, for example, is saving time, saving money, saving resources. Or also, increasing the benefit in terms of social status. What I mentioned before, drinking a coffee at Starbucks costs maybe 4 times more than just a normal kiosk, but we all do it. Right, so now you have a clear idea of your customer environment, your customer needs and wants, and also of your product. What do you offer? Then you can really start connecting the two and find opportunities which you could already apply the next day. But let's say that and what I say at the beginning, right? I use the value proposition canvas direct about my entire product if I'm a bit in a situation where maybe we have maximum 3 to 5 product teams. So you can still manage and see opportunities throughout the entire product. But let's say that you work in a company which have 10, 15 product teams. Then you cannot do this exercise of the value proposition canvas by yourself for the entire product, because it would be too generic. It wouldn't allow you to find those opportunities which could really help you for your growth. So in this case, I would say before working with the value proposition canvas, to spot opportunities, I tend to look at a list of insights. We use product board in our company, which is basically software which collects all the insights provided by all the departments in the company. But maybe you're keeping a Notion page, a Miro board, or just a Google Sheets with different feature requests from your colleagues. Then start to find patterns in it. When you have this pattern, use the best tool in every business, I guess, use your communication skills to talk to customer success manager and sales colleague. So this customer-facing department, they will also tell you a lot of insights, a lot of knowledge that you maybe have missed by looking only at a table or at a list of insights. And then when you have a clear idea of which product area, of which product feature in your big product needs improvements or needs to be created, then do customer interviews so that you can do customer interviews much more targeted at a specific problem. And then plot all of these insights into the value proposition canvas. So at the end of the day, you should treat the value proposition canvas for just a specific feature, but as it is a whole product per se. Good. So let's pretend that now we did the exercise. We have the value proposition canvas, and we see a few connections, right, between our product offering and the customer pains or gains. But how do we know that actually we are tackling the most important opportunity? And this is one of the main things you need to take out of this call of this webinar, or even if there is one thing I wish you remember, is this, that the opportunities have different weight. You need to really focus on the most severe points, because only those ones will have a market big enough and will have customer willing to pay for the solution you will provide. We experienced in the past where we had a product, an analytics dashboard with almost 5,000 users, and we thought, oh, we might have a reach product market fit. Then we changed the monetization strategy, and we started seeing a lot of churn, a lot actually. And we talked to some of these customers churning, and they told us, look, your product is great, but I'm not willing to spend more than X, because if you pass, let's say, the 10 euro per month, then I can do the same work by maybe it's taking me a couple of hours, but I can do the same work and achieve the same results. So the problem your software is solving is not hard enough. Therefore, I'm churning. So in order to avoid this, we use something which is called the feature map provided by Reforge. By the way, whoever is interested, I can then share at the end my presentation with also a Google spreadsheet where you can find this framework here. So the feature map by Reforge, it's great because it helps you to stack against each other different opportunities and be really strict with yourself to understand which one has the highest impact. But it's also a very easy framework to use. It's not super complex. And the key question here for me are three. First of all, what is the target size? So how many active users really need this feature? Are you developing just for a big enterprise customer, or are you developing this feature for 50% of your user? Then what is the frequency and severity of the issue? Is it coming up once a month or only once a year, this problem? And then what is the business impact that you will collect through the feature? Right, so to sum up, be user-centric. The value proposition helps you to find opportunities, which then you will prioritize with the feature map. And then be confident in your bet, and I'm sure you will drive business results. And achieving business results will also transform you in a stronger product manager. But then I was, I'm doing this and I'm thinking, great, have these opportunities, but unfortunately, I'm not a coder. How can I really use them? So the second important things that will help you grow is to improve the collaboration with your team. So now we're bringing the example which had quite a lot of response on this initial survey. Let's pretend that we, as product manager and team, we are a bit too distant from the market. Right. So you collected quite a lot of good insights in the first part through the value proposition canvas and the feature map. You have opportunities, which are like fuel, but then just fuel alone doesn't bring you any further. You need to insert the fuel into a machine, which then helps you to really go from A to B. But you also need to know how the machine works, because let's pretend that your machine works mainly with electricity and you only have fuel, or you try to put in fuel, it will not take you any further. But how can you solve this issue? Well, the ideal scenario, and those that work in a company that has the product trio are very lucky. The product trio is basically, it's a term used a lot, I believe, by Teresa Torres, which says that there are these three key persona in a team, which is the product designer, the tech lead, and the product manager. And these three persons are equally empowered and accountable for the success and failure of the product. And this is a great thing to know for a product manager, because too often we put everything on our shoulder. And this shouldn't be the case, because we have different strengths. But and also this team does not only need to be involved in the delivery side of the business, but also really in the discovery, in finding out these opportunities. Then let's pretend that you unfortunately don't have the chance to work with a product trio because of your organizational or setup or whatever other reason. But there are many things that you can do. First and foremost, share your discovery learnings and involve in the discovery some of your colleagues. As well, share with them customer insights, the market development. What are your competitors doing? This can be done, during a grooming or once a month, but this is so important because you don't have to forget that after all, you as a product manager, you are the expert of the business side of the software. And if you want your developer to know the why they're doing something, the why behind the feature and opportunities you create, you need to bring them closer to the market by sharing the knowledge you have. And another lovely exercise we are doing at Frontify is to organize customer deep dive sessions. That's how we call them, which are very relevant in a B2B environment. This is basically a customer success manager or a salesperson that shows you around an account of one of your B2B customers. How do they use it? What are the workaround they use? What are they complaining about? And so forth. This is so important because in B2B, you don't always have access to every account. And especially if you're offering a white label software, then this comes very, very important. So with these few techniques, you can really bring the market closer to yourself and the team. And by this, I mean the why, the reason behind opportunities becomes clearer. But, these are three great ideas. At least for me, they've been working, and not always though. But what I'm doing in order to keep track of these techniques, if they're really bringing my team closer to the market and the customer needs, is that I use a retrospective. Like we all know how to use and to do a retrospective, but I really like this one here, and what I call it is a spider retrospective. So you basically have, in this example, 3 leading questions that could make us understand if our team is close to the market. For example, the middle one is we use research and insights to inform our direction. By using the spider, you need to plot, the name of everyone on a scale from 1 to 5. And if the circle is very small, it means the concept is not well understood. If the circle is large, it means that it's well understood. And what is great, because it's also a nice visual tool, when you ask this question over a certain period of time, like let's say every 2 months, you want to measure how is the team getting closer to the market, you can really see the evolution in a nice visual way. And also for this one, by the way, I will share this Figma board with everyone that is interested with the spider web so that you can use it for your own needs. Right, so the collaboration. Tighter collaboration is so important. And at the end of the day, you can be the best product manager. But if you're not able to collaborate properly with your team, to provide them the right opportunities, with the right explanation, with the right description and concept and context, you will not go that far. You will definitely go farther if you create a strong collaboration and bring the market needs closer to your team. So to sum up, 3 more slides we have. So the circle of influence is what really helped me every time to grow. After hitting some troublesome moments, after maybe missing a milestone, or just always remembering myself, what can I impact today? What can I impact is finding new opportunities for my customer through the value proposition canvas, and then stack them together with a feature map. After, I bring these opportunities and I provide them to my team. And this will really help them to get closer to the market. I share these learnings and they implement it in the right way. So that hopefully we can build this growth loop, not a product growth loop, but a personal growth loop. If you remember, we started with the first slide that we all have this desire to grow. Then we hit some roadblocks. But at the end of the day, what makes you stronger is hitting these roadblocks, but especially it's not hitting them, but it's how you react from them, what you learn out of a tough moment, how you react, and how you create new opportunities for you and your team, and how you deliver these opportunities. Because when you deliver them, you create business impact. And if you create business impact, you can be guaranteed that you will achieve a personal growth. So thank you very much for having listened to me. And I'm really excited for some questions and to have a Q&A with all of you.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Tiziano. If you don't mind, I will steer the screen back over.
Yes.
And, please, everyone, reach out to him if you want the links and the different files. We can also try to coordinate that on our end and try to post it when we share the recording later as well. So let me reshare my screen. Fantastic. All right, so we are right about to enter the Q&A portion of today's session. That was definitely a very interesting chat. I think we've all kind of at some point hit a roadblock, try to assess our circle of influence and try to learn, from all of the struggles that we have along the way, and that helps us to progress, right, as we become stronger product managers or work in different kinds of companies. So you're all welcome to share your questions in the chat. My colleagues will help compile them for me. If you're in the Zoom room, you can raise your hand and I will just call on people as we go. While you are formulating your wonderful questions, I'll just take you on a quick detour, buy you some time, and just dive a little bit into the background of product people. And we'll let Tiziano drink a glass of water before we bombard him with questions. All right, I mentioned earlier that here at Product People, we basically have interim product management services. These are just 3 use cases where that would be perhaps the most valuable to different companies. The first is just covering interim support. For example, if one of your colleagues goes on parental leave, or you're in the process of hiring someone for a role, and as we all know, that takes quite some time to find the right candidate. So we're happy to jump in and support in the meantime. Second is if you would like support on assessing your current product or the processes you have in place, or even coaching your product management team and helping to upskill them to the next level. And then lastly, if you want help and support leading a particular initiative to perhaps do some user research or find the next opportunity for your company, we can also support on running no-code, low-code MVP options. At the bottom here, you see just a few of our clients that we've had the good fortune to work with. They span across many different industries and products. Here's just some feedback that we've received from clients recently. You're welcome to read them. But generally speaking, they cover our fast onboarding and how quickly we're able to provide value, and generally speaking, how low maintenance my colleagues are. So moving on, this is always my favorite part. This is our team mosaic. We're now, Mohammed mentioned to me earlier, we're now 41 people and growing. As you can see, we're a very diverse group led by our founder, Mirella. We are based in Berlin, Germany, but we are all remotely distributed across, I think now 13 different countries. And fortunately, we've saved a little spot for you in case you're looking for your next challenge, because we are hiring for product managers of all different levels with lots of growth opportunities within. If you're interested, please reach out to us at boards.eu.greenhouse.io/productpeople. All right. I think that's enough of a detour. Let me jump in with some questions from my colleagues and from the audience members. All right. Cool. First question I see, how can we be more user-centric when it comes to B2B products? Tiziano.
Yeah, very good question. I think first and foremost, I mean, it always depends, right? If your company allows you to have direct contact with the customer, because this also helps where that the customer is too far away, you need to go through your customer facing or commercial teams to get an opportunity to talk to them. And I would definitely advise anyone to do it, to be pushy, ask your customer success to organize a call with whoever they're in contact with. But what I think it's even more important is at a company level to understand who are your buyer persona and who are your user persona, especially in the B2B context. This is absolutely fundamental because at the end of the day, you're building the product most likely for the user, not for the buyer. So whenever you do customer research or customer insights activities in B2B, be careful and be mindful to talk to the user persona. I don't know if this, I mean, it was quite of a generic question. I'm not sure if this answers your questions, or would you like to know some more technique?
From the user, I think we've answered the question. So thank you very much for answering a general question with a wonderful response. All right, from Florian Steiner on LinkedIn, the question is, how does the product board look like? And how do you spot the patterns in customer insights?
How does product board look like? So I'm not working for them, but it's a tool which basically connect all your different departments. Everyone can that is in contact with customers or hear about a new feature, a request, or see a great feature from competitor. They can plot these insights into product board, and then these insights goes assigned to different product manager, and we product manager group this single insights. Let's say change the button from red to blue. We add this into a larger feature request, so that in this case we can see pattern, right? If there is a feature request which every day gets small request changes, then we understand that this is a problematic part of our product which we need to improve. And but you know, I know about other companies that work, for example, with a Notion board. There is a classic form that you can create so that everyone that insert insights use a certain standardized way of creating insights. Try to focus not on the solution, but on what problem does the customer have. And then collect this standardized insights in wherever you want. And like this, you already, in my opinion, start seeing the patterns of possible opportunities.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. You've mentioned now a circle of influence, which I also thought was very interesting. You know, considering that you had a journey also as a product manager yourself, how would you say that your circle of influence changed, you know, maybe in the early stages to where you are now as senior product manager?
Yeah, it's a very good question as well. Well, definitely in terms of with the stakeholders that you're working on, for me, this has changed the most. At the very beginning, you know, you're just really focused on your own product, on your own delivery. But the more you grow, the more you understand that whatever you deliver has dependencies, has impact on other product areas, has impact on other kind of customers. And this is really how I grew my circle of influence grew, is that it touches upon more departments and especially more people that I need to remember to get involved whenever I do something. And also, if you know you have a certain passion, and your circle of influence can also grow like this. Let's say you're a product manager, but really love the topic of, let's say, product-led growth or product growth. Then try to expand your circle of influence to the marketing department. Try to ask them if they're working on a similar concept, you know, to increase the top of the funnel users, and just ask them to participate at some meetings or at a project, just as a listening in. This will already help you to expand it a bit.
Fantastic. Thank you. Yeah, stakeholder relations, always a
Yeah,
always
that's,
a fun
I
part
mean,
of the job.
well, we are people, right? People doing business with people. So I do think a lot starts from this.
Absolutely. Fantastic question from Angelica. How do you identify customer candidates for the customer deep dive sessions?
Yeah, very good question. Recently, it's been easier for me because I'm working. Or let's say I work for a specific cohort. You know, we have our enterprise customer, and I'm focused on their needs, on their problem. So it's quite straightforward. You know, we have a customer segmentation, and I ask the customer success manager, "Hey, I want to speak with 1, 2, 3, 4." But another way that you can understand and spot the right customer is, let's say, you want to understand something about an opportunities of a specific feature. Then you should go into the data analytics tool that you have and look who are the power user of that feature. And if you find then a couple of customers that are really using this feature that you think you want to improve, you see that they're using it a lot, then contact the customer success manager that managed them and try to get an interview. So always, because I think just having interviews there or customer showcasing the tool, it's good, but you need to have a goal, and the goal should trigger down from the opportunities you want to hone in.
Great. Thank you so much. Marv, I see your hand raised. Would you like to unmute and ask your question yourself?
Yes. Hey. Hi. So thank you for the session, first of all. And so my question is, I noticed that on the topic of growth, you supplied examples on how to grow while working with a company and working inside a team and all that. But do you have advice that's a little bit outside of the presentation? Growth for product managers that are either transitioning or looking to, land a job or interviewing or anything like that. So anything on that aspect?
Yes, absolutely. I was talking recently to a friend exactly about this. He's a designer, much industrial designer that want to move towards product management. And I think we product manager, we're hustling, we love to create things. So the best way to showcase your product management skills, in my opinion, is to have a personal project. This doesn't need to be a business idea, but just showcase, you could start from you writing articles. So you have a website that showcase your passion, or you're building something by yourself. So to show this entrepreneurial spirit and the willingness to get your hands dirty, I think this will go a long way for any recruiter out there to see your willingness to build stuff.
Okay. May I just ask just a sub follow-up to that, because
yes.
Because of your answer. So, okay, that's cool advice. And I think, I also agree with you, but you have advice on types of side projects, because, would a presentation do, or do you recommend maybe taking short-term gigs with companies? What type of side projects do you mean?
Yes, this could be different thing. Like maybe you know someone that has a very traditional company, let's say in a traditional business, and you tell them, hey, can I help you to create a new website? And you use maybe a Webflow, Squarespace, something that already exists, but try to provide them some sort of digital support in a small manner. So with this low code and no code tool, I think a lot can be done. Right. So I would definitely do something into the digital space.
Okay.
And I also have this guy that I talked to recently, he used to be a barista. His name is Justin. Hello, if you're there. And he used to be a barista, and then he found here in Zurich a company who is actually two guys, the young guys that are importing coffee from somewhere here in Switzerland and then selling it. So he thought, okay, I can use here my knowledge of barista to help them in, learning about the customer XYZ. And he's doing this pro bono at the moment. But I believe this goes a long way then again to show on your CV that you really want to do things and you put your passion in practice to help people.
Okay, yeah.
Business, yeah. I don't know if that could help, but you can think already as something that you could do with all of those low code, no code tools. I think really a lot can be done for traditional business, right?
Okay, thank you for that.
Awesome. I definitely echo your comments on no code, low code. I think, in general, right, the entrepreneurial spirit, but also product management, right? It's a faster turnaround time that we can practice, make mistakes, right, in a low risk area before we join companies and really get to, manage a lot more over there. One last question from Yihui on Zoom. How do you balance in decision making between monetization goals, perhaps from stakeholders, and the satisfaction of users?
Yeah, it's a good question. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, your product, you have one product, but it's like a portfolio of different features. And you have to have a healthy balance between what drives monetization and what drives customer satisfaction. At the end of the day, these two should be linked. I mean, not a feature that drives monetization cannot drive customer satisfaction, because in that case, it would be a very unhealthy or maybe an unethical product. But try to map out all of your different features, and then you can say, okay, is this a business driver? Is it driving acquisition or monetization? Or is this feature helping me just to increase satisfaction of the customer, but I don't know how to monetize? And at least if you write that down, you can then start thinking about ways that you can either improve in the monetization or in the satisfaction of the specific feature. But definitely, you need to have a balanced portfolio of these features. If the person has concrete examples, can also let me know or ask it now. Perfect.
Yihui, any comments on this or questions?
I don't have concrete examples. Yeah, so you were saying that it's more like investment portfolio, so it's like diversified both sides, so to say.
Yes, exactly. It's like an investment portfolio. Because also you need, you cannot put all your resources to just increase the feature for customer satisfaction or just for the monetization of today, right? You also set your resources in a company that maybe 70% are working on the current core product, 20% on features which could come, new feature could come in 6 months, and then 10% of very innovative things. And I believe the same should be done for features that drive customer satisfaction, monetization, acquisition. So you need to create a healthy balance between these different drivers.
Great. Thank you so much. Very, very well-spoken answer. All right. Thank you, everyone. I think that will be our last question for today. Tiziano, this was a great talk, especially for all the aspiring product managers out there with different circles of influence. This is definitely a good framework, the value proposition map, all of this to kind of keep in mind as they move forward. So very lovely to have you today on the other side of the screen. For everyone who would love to follow him for more, do make sure you follow him on LinkedIn and check out his other sessions as well. For more workshops like this with product people, you're welcome to follow us on Meetup, join a Telegram group that we have, or support us on Patreon. And with that, I will wish you all a wonderful rest of your day and look forward to seeing you all soon.